Echoes of Misery was a tale that spanned centuries, a chilling reminder that some horrors could never be fully understood or banished. It served as a grim testament to the thin and treacherous boundary between the natural and supernatural worlds, a boundary that, once crossed, could lead to unimaginable darkness. The late 1800s horror story that unfolded between Europe and Russia was not a mere relic of the past. It was a chilling echo that reverberated through time, a warning that some nightmares could never be silenced. In the late 1800s, a chilling and convoluted incident unfolded between Europe and Russia, a tale that still sends shivers down the spines of those who dare to remember. It began with the unexplained disappearances of countless villagers in a remote region straddling the borderlands of Europe and Russia. Men, women, and children vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and fear. As the disappearances continued, a sense of dread permeated the communities, and whispers of a malevolent force grew louder. The forest that surrounded the affected villages seemed to come alive with eerie whispers. The very trees appeared to watch, their branches twisting into grotesque shapes. Rumors spread that the forest was cursed, that it harbored an ancient evil that hungered for human souls. But the horror didn't stop with the vanishings. As night fell, chilling cries would pierce the air, sending shudders through the bravest hearts. Villagers spoke of witnessing shadowy figures, twisted and grotesque, lurking on the edges of the forest. These apparitions seemed to beckon with skeletal fingers, tempting the curious to venture deeper into the abyss. It was said that some villagers, driven by despair or madness, entered the forest willingly, never to return. Those who dared to follow could only describe the maddening sensation of being trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Time warped, and the forest's sinister beauty concealed a realm of unspeakable horrors. As the moon cast an eerie glow through the twisted branches, residents reported strange symbols etched into the trees, pulsating with a malevolent energy. Others claimed to hear mournful wails echoing through the night, as if the very earth itself wept for the lost souls within its clutches. Desperation gripped the villages, and they turned to their clergy for salvation. Exorcisms and rituals were performed, but they only seemed to exacerbate the torment, as if the forest itself reveled in the anguish of the living. As the years passed, the disappearances and hauntings persisted, leaving the once thriving communities in ruins. Survivors moved away, leaving behind only abandoned houses, overgrown gardens, and a forest that continued to harbor its sinister secrets. The legend of this unholy place endured, whispered in hushed tones by those who still remembered. They warned of a darkness that could not be banished, of a forest that held within its depths the tortured souls of both the living and the dead. And as the 2023 expedition ventured into this cursed realm, they were about to uncover that the true horrors of the forest were far more twisted and nightmarish than anyone could have ever imagined. As the researchers delved deeper into the forest, they began to experience a series of bizarre and harrowing events that defied all logic and reason. Time seemed to lose its grip, with day and night merging into an eternal twilight. The forest's trees, once merely eerie observers, now reached out with gnarled branches that seemed to claw at the very essence of their souls. The whispers grew louder, evolving into sinister, mocking laughter that echoed through the woods. Shadows danced in the periphery of their vision, shifting and contorting into grotesque shapes that defied the laws of nature. Each step they took felt like a descent into madness. One by one, the researchers were plagued by nightmarish visions. They saw their deepest fears brought to life in the twisted foliage of long-dead loved ones, beckoning them towards a spectral abyss, grotesque amalgamations of human and forest creatures that whispered promises of untold horrors, and ancient gnarled trees with eyes that wept blood. As the days turned into weeks, their supplies dwindled, and their sanity eroded. The forest seemed to feed on their fear and desperation, growing more malevolent with each passing moment. They found themselves unable to escape, the landscape shifting and distorting to keep them trapped within its cursed confines. In the heart of the forest, they discovered an ancient, decrepit cabin, its walls adorned with strange symbols that pulsed with a malevolent energy. The diary of the hermit who had once inhabited the cabin spoke of dark rituals, forbidden knowledge, and a pact with a demonic entity known as the forest's master. In their desperation, the researchers attempted to perform a ritual to banish this malevolent presence, but it only served to awaken an even greater evil. The ground trembled, and the trees twisted and contorted into nightmarish forms. From the depths of the forest emerged a grotesque and nightmarish apparition, the Weeping Shadow. Its form shifted and writhed, a shapeless mass of darkness that hungered for their souls. Its mournful wails echoed through the forest, chilling the researchers to their core. A battle of unimaginable horror ensued as the researchers confronted the Weeping Shadow. It tore at their minds, projecting their deepest fears and darkest regrets into their consciousness. Some fell to their knees, driven to madness, while others fought back with every ounce of their being. In a final, desperate act, they managed to recite the incantation from the hermit's diary, banishing the Weeping Shadow back into the abyss from whence it came. But the victory came at a terrible cost, for they had glimpsed the true face of the malevolent force that dwelled within the forest, the ancient, insatiable hunger that craved the souls of the living. As they emerged from the forest, scarred and broken, they knew that the horrors they had witnessed would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The line between reality and nightmare had been blurred beyond recognition, and the forest had exacted a terrible toll.